What's going on, guys? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I'm going to be talking about magic items contained within Xanathar's Guide to Everything. So this is going to be some focus on the common magic items, the new items as they are, contained in Xanathar's, and then the magic item tables, because I do have some thoughts on them, and some complaints. So we'll talk about that towards the end, but let's go through the new common magic items. So, right off the bat, we have Armor of Gleaming. This was any medium or heavy armor. These are all common magic items, so I'm not going to go over that. We'll just say that as we, that's just a common thing now. But this armor never gets dirty. So this can make it, you can make it look like whatever you want. The armor just stays clean. Bead of Nourishment. This spongy, flavorless, gelatinous bead dissolves on your tongue and provides as much nourishment as 1 day of rations. So that's pretty simple. Sort of works like a good berry. Good berry does a little bit of healing, and it's not a spell, right? So this is not a bad magic item to kind of give out as a general adventuring gear. It's not a bad thing. I like it. Bead of Refreshment. This spongy, flavorless, gelatinous bead dissolves in liquid, transforming up to a pint of the liquid into fresh, cold drinking water. This bead has no effect on magical liquids or harmful substances such as poison. So you could take this into some nasty, dirty river water and do something like that. As long as it's not harmful. You want to get really kind of gross, you could all have the party piss in a bucket, throw this in the bucket, it becomes clean, fresh drinking water. Perhaps the party doesn't drink it, but you give it to the NPCs, because they won't know any better. Boots of False Tracks. Only humanoids can wear these boots. While wearing them, you can choose to have the tracks look like those of another kind of humanoid of your size. So you are a halfling, you make these look like orc tracks, or vice versa. However you want to do that. You're an orc, you want to make them look like kobold tracks, whatever. Pretty cool boots. Candle of the Deep. The flame of this candle is not extinguished when immersed in water. It gives off light and heat like a normal candle. Heat is interesting because it gives off heat underwater, which is pretty cool. So a useful thing to have for your underwater travels. Cast off armor. This is light, medium, or heavy armor. You can doff this armor as an action. Still doesn't help you at all when you're trying to put the armor on, but when you need to lose it, it's an action, which is pretty cool. Especially if you're doing something like get knocked into the water, get rid of it real quick. Although then you'll potentially lose it as it sinks to the bottom. But hey, it's another conversation. Our first of the attunement items that we've come across, Charlatans Die. Whenever you roll this 6-sided die, you can control what number it rolls. So that is an attunement item, but still cool. Cloak of Billowing. While wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to make it billow dramatically. This is an item that I've given out to my players, and typically in the form of a scarf. But either way, still very cool. And again, non-attunement, so that's great. Cloak of Many Fashions. While wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to change the style, color, and apparent quality of this garment. The cloak's weight does not change. Regardless of its appearance, the cloak can't be anything but a cloak. Although it can duplicate the appearance of other magical cloaks, it does not gain their magical properties. Clockwork Amulet. This copper amulet contains tiny interlocking. This one I really like a lot. Powered by from Mechanus, the plane of clockwork predictability, which is where the Modrons are from. Creature puts their ear to the amulet can hear a faint ticking and whirring. When you make an attack roll while wearing this amulet, you can forego the d20 roll to get a 10 on the die instead. Once used, this property can't be used until the next dawn. So this is a way to take a 10 on any attack roll, which as you get to higher levels, when your attack bonus is potentially with magical weapons somewhere in the plus 10 to plus 12 range, this is almost a guaranteed hit, which is not too shabby. And again, non-attunement. Clothes of Mending. This elegant outfit of traveler's clothes, the Clockwork Amulet, by the way, may be one of my, if not my favorite item. This elegant outfit of traveler's clothes magically mends itself to counteract daily wear and tear. Pieces of the outfit that are destroyed can't be repaired in this way. We have the Dark Shard Amulet, which requires attunement by a warlock. So we have a class-specific one here. This amulet is fashioned from a single shard of resilient extraplanar material. from the realm of your Warlock patron, potentially for the Oath of the Ancient One Warlock. You can use this as a spellcasting focus for your Warlock spells. You can try to cast a cantrip that you don't know. The cantrip must be on the Warlock spell list, and you must succeed on a DC 10 Arcana check. If the check succeeds, you cast the spell. If the check fails, so does the spell, and the action to cast the spell is wasted. In either case, you can't use this property until you finish a long rest. Seems a little wonky that it's long rest based when you are a Warlock, but hey, it's a common magic item, but at the same time, it uses up your attunement slot. I mean, I guess early on you'd be stoked about it, and later on you'd probably just de-attune. Dread Helm. This fearsome steel helm makes your eyes glow red while you wear it. Awesome cosmetic item. Ear Horn of Hearing. While held up to your ear, this horn suppresses the effect of the deafened condition on you, allowing you to hear normally. Deafened is not a super common condition that comes up versus a lot of spells, but it's that classic, sonny, and you got your little ear horn, you're listening in. Usually the deafened condition goes away relatively quickly, but hey, Ear Horn of Hearing. The Enduring Spellbook. This spellbook, along with anything written on its pages, can't be damaged by fire or immersion in water. In addition, the spellbook doesn't deteriorate with age. This is your wizard's go-to, item here. Why wouldn't you want to have that? Ursat's Eye, which requires attunement. This artificial eye replaces a real one that is lost or removed. While the Ursat's Eye is embedded in your eye socket, it can't be removed by anyone other than you, and you can see through the tiny orb as though it were a normal eye. I've heard Chris Perkins talk about this item. He's a fan of it because you get to determine what the eye looks like. It doesn't actually tell you what the gem looks like. You pop this eye in, or this artificial eye. I don't know if it actually is a gem. I don't think it actually says anything what it looks like, but you get to decide what it looks like, which is cool, but it requires attunement, which kind of sucks. Hat of Vermin. This hat has 3 charges. While holding the hat, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and speak a command word, and summon forth your choice of a bat, a frog, or a rat. The summoned creature magically appears in the hat and tries to get away from you as quickly as possible. This creature is neither friendly nor hostile, and it isn't under your control. It behaves as an ordinary creature of its kind and disappears after 1 hour or when it drops to 0 hit points. That regains all charges daily at dawn. What you could use this for? I'm sure there's people that have clever ideas for wishing they had the opportunity to have the ability to summon a creature that they could summarily destroy for gaining hit points or something like that. This is the way to do it. Hat of Wizardry. This requires attunement by a wizard. This is your typical wizard's hat. Cone-shaped, adorned with crescent moons and stars. You can use it as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. Similar to the Warlock one, you can try to cast a cantrip that you don't know. Must be on the wizard list. You make a DC 10 Arcana check. If it succeeds, you cast the spell. If it fails, so does the action. You waste the spell once per long rest. You can do this. Hubert's Handy Spice Pouch. This belt pouch appears empty and has 10 charges. While holding the pouch, you can use an action to expend one of the charge, speak the name of any non-magical food seasoning, such as salt, pepper, saffron, or cilantro, and remove a pinch of the desired seasoning from the pouch. A pinch is enough to season a single meal. The pouch regains 1d6 plus 4 charges daily at dawn. The Horn of Silent Alarm. This horn has 4 charges. When you use an action to blow it, one creature of your choice can hear the horn's blare, provided the creature is within 600 feet of you and not deafened. No other creature hears the sound from the horn. It gets 1d4 charges back daily at dawn. I love that. I think that's phenomenal. It's a signal horn, but you choose who you want it to work, and it doesn't work on other people. That is phenomenal. I can't wait to put that in my game. Instrument of Illusions. While you are playing this musical instrument, you can create harmless, illusory visual effects within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on the instrument. If you're a bard, the radius increases to 15 feet. Sample visual effects include luminous musical notes, a spectral dancer, butterflies, and gently falling snow. Magical effects have neither substance nor sound, and they are obviously illusory. Effects end when you stop playing. Instrument of Scribing. This musical instrument has 3 charges. This is also attunement. While you're playing it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge from the instrument and write a magical message or on a non-magical object or surface within 30 feet of you. The message can be up to 6 words long and is written in a language you know. If you are a bard, you can scribe an additional 7 words for a maximum of 13 and choose to make the message glow faintly, allowing it to be seen in non-magical darkness. Casting Dispel Magic on the message erases it, otherwise it fades after 24 hours. It regains all charges daily at dawn. Again, awesome. I love both of those. Lock of Trickery. This lock appears to be an ordinary lock and comes with a single key. The tumblers in the lock magically adjust to thwart burglars. Dexterity checks made to pick this lock have disadvantage. The Moon-Touched Sword. This is any sword. Again, the benefit of these is they are common magic items. The Moon-Touched Sword means it does magic damage for overcoming magical... it should, in my mind. It doesn't state that it does, but it's a magic weapon. So therefore, it's common magic item, but it is still magic. So in my mind, it should overcome magic damage resistance. But I guess that's not specifically stated, so who knows. But in darkness, the unsheathed blade of this sword sheds moonlight, creating bright light in a 15-foot radius and dim light for an additional 15 feet. The Mystery Key, a question mark, is worked into the head of this key. The key has a 5% chance of unlocking any lock into which it's inserted. Once it unlocks something, the key disappears. Orb of Direction. While holding this orb, you can use an action to determine which way is north. This property functions only on the material plane. Orb of Time. While holding this orb, you can use an action to determine whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime outside. Only functions on the material plane. Perfume of Bewitching. This tiny vial contains magic perfume enough for 1 use. You can use an action to apply the perfume to yourself, and it lasts for 1 hour. For the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed at humanoids of challenge rating 1 or lower. Those subjected to the perfume's effects are not aware they've been influenced by magic. Pipe of Smoke Monsters. While smoking this pipe, you can use an action to exhale a puff of smoke that takes the form of a single creature, such as a dragon, a flump, or a froghemoth. The form must be small enough to fit in a 1-foot cube and loses its shape after a few seconds, becoming an ordinary puff of smoke. Pole of Angling. While holding this 10-foot pole, you can speak a command word and transform it into a fishing pole with a hook, line, and reel. Speaking the command word again changes the fishing pole back into a normal 10-foot pole. Pole of Collapsing. While holding this 10-foot pole, you can use an action to speak a command word and cause it to collapse into a 1-foot-long rod for ease of storage. The pole's weight doesn't change. You can use an action to speak a different command word to revert it into a 10-foot pole. It will only elongate as far as the space around it allows. I love this. This is a very... this used to be a non-magic item. The way it's designed here, it is magic. I've seen it done in other games, and it was actually a thing in 3.5. Basically like a blind person's walking stick that sort of breaks down with pieces, so you can like fold it up into a tiny thing and then like let it go and it like extends out to sort of make a collapsible 10-foot pole. Let's see. Pot of Awakening. If you plant an ordinary shrub in this 10-pound clay pot and let it grow for 30 days, the shrub magically transforms into an awakened shrub. At the end of that time, when the shrub awakens, its roots break the pot, destroying it. The awakened shrub is friendly towards you. Absent commands from you, it does nothing. Rope of Mending. You cut this 50-foot coil of hempen rope into any number of smaller pieces and then use an action to speak a command word and cause the pieces to knit back together. The pieces must be in contact with each other and not otherwise in use. A rope of mending is forever shortened if a section of it is lost or destroyed. Ruby of the War Mage. This requires attunement by a spellcaster. Etched with Eldritch runes, this 1-inch diameter ruby also allows you to use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus for your spells. For this property to work, you must attach the ruby to the weapon by pressing the ruby against it for at least 10 minutes. Thereafter, the ruby can't be removed unless you detach it as an action or the weapon is destroyed. Not even an anti-magic field causes it to fall off. The ruby does not fall off the weapon if your attunement to the ruby ends. So the ruby does fall off the weapon if your attunement to the ruby ends. So this is a way to add a spellcasting focus to a martial weapon without having to take the Warcaster feat. A simple or martial weapon. Cool option. It does not technically can make the weapon magic though, which is a little bit unfortunate. Shield of Expression. The front of this shield is shaped like in the likeness of a face. While bearing the shield, you can use a bonus action to alter the face's expression. Smoldering Armor. Any armor, wisps of a harmless, odorless smoke rise from this armor while it is worn. I think this is fantastic. I think this is a great way to freak out your PCs, because if they see a piece of armor or a suit of armor in a hallway that's smoking, they're probably going to freak out and think something's singed and burnt this thing to a crisp. And really, it's just the armor. But still, very cool. Staff of Adornment. If you place an object weighing no more than 1 pound, such as a shard of a crystal, an egg, or a stone, above the tip of the staff while holding it, the object floats an inch from the staff's tip and remains there until it is removed or until the staff is no longer in your possession. The staff can have up to 3 objects floating over its tip at any time. While holding the staff, you can make 1 or more of the objects slowly spin or turn in place. Staff of Birdcalls. This wooden staff is decorated with bird carvings. It has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge from the staff and cause it to create one of the following sounds out to a range of 60 feet. A finch's chirp, a raven's caw, a duck's quack, a chicken's cluck, a goose's honk, a loon's call, a turkey's gobble, a seagull's cry, an owl's hoot, or an eagle's shriek. Staff regains 1d6 plus 4 charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the staff explodes into a harmless cloud of bird feathers and is lost forever. This has its specific uses. It's a very druid-centric item. It's something I could see somebody getting in the Adventure League at some point and making a bunch of really weird uses for it. But again, it also works as a signal, right? I mean, if you hear a raven caw, then you know to do X, but if you hear a turkey gobble, look out. You know, you can do something like that. Staff of Flowers. This wooden staff has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge from the staff and cause flowers to sprout from a patch of earth or soil within 5 feet of you, or from the staff itself. Unless you choose a specific kind of flower, the staff creates a mild-scented daisy. The flower is harmless and non-magical, and it grows or withers as a normal flower would. The staff regains 1d6 plus 4 charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the staff turns into flower petals and is lost forever. Talking Doll. Common. This requires, I keep saying common because I want to say it, but it is, they're all common. Requires attunement. While the stuffed doll is within 5 feet of you, you can spend a short rest telling it to say up to 6 phrases, none of which can be more than 6 words long, and set a condition under which the doll speaks each phrase. You can also replace old phrases with new ones. Whatever the condition, it must occur within 5 feet of the doll to make it speak. For example, whenever someone picks up the doll, it might say, "I want a piece of candy." The doll's phrases are lost when your attunement to the doll ends. Tankard of Sobriety. I like this one a lot. The tankard has a stern face sculpted into one side. You can drink ale, wine, or any other non-magical alcoholic beverage poured into it without becoming inebriated. The tankard has no effect on magical liquids or harmful substances such as poison. Again, a great way to role-play a drinking contest. If you drink from your tankard, you could outdrink anyone because you won't get drunk. Unbreakable Arrow. This arrow can't be broken except when it's in an anti-magic field. Again, I bet you I can shoot this arrow at this thing and it won't break. Another great way to hustle people. Veteran's Cane. When you grasp this walking cane and use a bonus action to speak the command word, it transforms into an ordinary longsword and ceases to be magical. So that one there specifically says it stops being magical. So that one is kind of unfortunate because the sword doesn't become magic, which kind of sucks. Walloping Ammunition. This ammunition packs a wallop. A creature hit by the ammunition must make a DC 10 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Wand of Conducting. This wand has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and create orchestral music by waving it around, meaning a wand of conducting, like a conductor. The music can be heard out to a range of 60 feet and ends when you stop waving the wand. The wand regains all charges daily at dawn. If the wand expends last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, a sad tuba sound plays and the wand crumbles. And the wand crumbles to dust and is destroyed. Wand of Pyrotechnics. This wand has 7 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and create a harmless burst of multicolored light at a point you can see within 60 feet. The burst of light is accompanied by a crackling noise that can be heard up to 300 feet away. This light is as bright as a torch flame, but lasts only a second. It gains 1d6 plus 1 expended charges daily at dawn. If you expend the wand's last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the wand erupts in harmless pyrotechnic display and is destroyed. And then last two, we have the Wand of Scowls. This one has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and target a humanoid you can see within 30 feet of you. The target must succeed on a DC 10 Charisma saving throw or be forced to scowl for 1 minute. The wand regains all charges daily at dawn. If you expend the wand's last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the wand transforms into a Wand of Smiles. The Wand of Smiles, this wand has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge to target a humanoid of your choice within 30 feet. The target must succeed on a DC 10 Charisma saving throw or be forced to smile for 1 minute. The wand regains all expended charges daily at dawn. And if you expend the last charge, roll d20. If you roll a 1, it transforms into a Wand of Scowls. So that, guys, is all of the common magic items contained within Xanathar's Guide to Everything. You can see that they go from a range of cosmetic for things like the Armor of Gleaming and the Dread Helm and then the Smoldering Armor to things that have some potential uses, like the Clockwork Amulet, I think is fantastic. I think that's great. I think the Wand of Scowls and Wand of Smiles could potentially, on when you use them, could be very useful if you sneakily make somebody scowl as they're talking to the king or the queen or whatever. That could be something. The Moon-Touched Sword, again, just a magic sword that glows in the dark. The Mystery Key, fantastic. The fact that it can unlock something. You know you're going to try this anytime you go anywhere. You're going to be like, how bad do we got to get in here? All right, let's see. Boom. And that one time, you're going to roll that 5%. You're going to use that key, and you're going to feel like a champion. Again, and then useful things like a pole that can collapse down in size, or a pole that can become a fishing rod when you need it to. Awesome. Perfume that gives you advantage on charisma checks. Again, only against certain creatures, but still. Rope that fixes itself. A wand or a ruby that turns a spellcasting, a weapon into a spellcasting thing. Again, remind you that there are things that destroy non-magical armor, non-magical shields, non-magical this, non-magical that. If you have Smoldering Armor, it is considered magical, which I believe makes it immune to a rust monster's effect, and this is a common magic item, so it gets around that. So things to keep in mind. Also, I did want to go here and point out that the magic item tables are what really bother me, because there's no percentage to roll on these tables. So you have all of these tables, which are wonderful to have, that show you minor items, major items, and you can see here, right, minor items, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary, and then major items, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. So there are no common major items, but you'll see here you've got all these, basically everything we just talked about, and it breaks it out whether it's armor, weapons, wondrous item, attunement, yes or no, and if it's tied to a class. But you'll see there's also spell scrolls, right? We have the various common potions, climbing, healing. And we have spell scrolls of cantrips and first level spells, so those are added in here. Now this is great. Wouldn't it also be great if we had the percentile roll, so someone could roll at random on this table? But we don't have that. You could try to count it out and try to figure out how you want to try to break it up and assign numbers to it. But that's just a step that I feel like we shouldn't have to take. Now, I guess you could say that, oh, well, this sort of goes against what's in the DMG, but the DMG is broken out by the way things are. They don't break them out by minor and major. They break them out by magic item table A, B, C, and so on. Yes, you can pretty much assign that, like, magic item table I is legendary and H is very rare and so on, but eventually they start to blend together. So here's our minor items. Uncommon, again, things like, there is some stuff in here, right? Mithril armor, mariner's armor, stuff like that. Here's some potions. Then we have major items rare. We have some +2 ammo, various spell scrolls, and then here's minor items very rare. Starting to get a little bit smaller. This is probably like your magic item table D or E. And then down here, we only have 4 things on this, right? So you could easily divide this up into 25% for the minor items legendary. But why, oh why? And this is, again, great. Magic, these are basically uncommon major items. These are your non, consumables, you know, you're going to have some good stuff here. Attunement or not, wonderful to have out here. Look, Bard, Spellcaster, Warlock, Cleric, Druid, or Warlock. Great to have that breakout. Why can't I have my numbers? Why was this not an errata to Xanathar's Guide? Why is this still not an errata to Xanathar's Guide? This is very annoying to me. That you will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables that have no ability to be rolled on. I can't be the only one who feels this way, right? That you have all these nicely crafted tables for you. As a DM, you're like, awesome, check this out, all these tables. But now I have to go and come up with my own set of numbers for rolling. And then you know it doesn't break out evenly, that you could just do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way down the list. It's not broken out that way. Because let's see, there'd have to be, what, 25, right? 1, 2, 3. Here, we're at legendary items you're probably never going to roll on, but still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So it's not broken up where you can just divide it easily in half for a percentile by 2. We just checked on 1. I'm pretty sure it's the same way for all the other ones. You're going to have some that are going to be more, some that are going to be less. And that's just really annoying. That you build all these tables and then don't design rollable percentages on them. Because that's what people use magic item tables for rolling. Again, maybe I'm overreacting here, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is it very annoying to you? Am I in the minority here? I'm very curious. So, anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this look at the common magic items and the magic item tables in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Be sure to come back when I check out the downtime activities and how things have changed from Unlocked Arcana. So, anyway guys, I'll see you next time.